Are you walking dead? Here's the thing. One way to find out is take a look and take an assessment. Is there fruit in your life? Are you getting results in your body, being, balance, and business? Because there's no excuse not to be getting fruit unless you're dead. You're dead to yourself. You're not working on yourself. You can't save your marriage, you can't save your relationships, you can't save your spiritual life, and you can't save your body and improve your health if you're walking dead, you're asleep because there's no fruit, no excuse. So stop scrolling and start sowing. So let's, to get really brutally honest, how much of your day is spent doing things that have no value in it, such as social media, TV, mindless distractions? We say we're working, but there's no fruit at the end of the day to show for it. So no fruit, check your time. Chances are you spent it doing something that's meaningless. Let's get into this episode. Something I'm dealing with today, we're always dealing with something. But one of the things is when I spend time in the Word and I look for verses that will speak to me from the standpoint of what I'm dealing with. And today I was really dealing with just not being connected, wasting time just scrolling through social media. It was like this. I got up this morning, got into my meditation, and this was about 3:45 to 4 o'clock this morning, and I just couldn't quite get connected. I just was feeling out of sorts, if you will. So about 20 minutes in, I just came out of the meditation and I turned around and I grabbed my phone. Next thing I know, I started watching some stories. Then those stories turned into reels. And then 45 minutes later, yes, 45 minutes later, I spent 20 minutes in meditation, 45 minutes scrolling mindlessly on social media because I was avoiding doing what I needed to do. Yesterday I talked a little bit about LFG, let's fucking go, or lick my ass because I'm going to lead from the front. But the truth is, we all struggle with these moments in time where we just are wasting our time, but there's no excuse for it. There really isn't. Not when there's work to be done. That's why I get up early. I have work to be done. The first thing is have to seek the kingdom first. I've got to connect to the vine. The vine is Jesus, and he is the vine, and he's connected to God, and God is like the tree and the roots, and I'm the branch. I produce the fruit. But when we get sucked into this mindless scrolling, it sucks away our energy. We just don't feel like doing the things we need to do. So what I did is I came across Proverbs 12:11, and it reads, "One who works his land will have plenty of bread, but the one who pursues worthless things lacks sense." And mindless scrolling through social media or just binge watching TV, those are worthless things. They add no value to your life. The only person that's getting value is the person that you're watching. If you got a message and you have a business, they need to be watching you and you not watching them. That's the biggest thing I think that really causes for me is because, 32 years ago, I buried that guy in the hole with my daughter. And there's a subject here. It's called fear. It's fear of failure. I was such a failure as a father. That's the story I told. I was a failure as a husband, and it continued. Failure as a business person. And so a lot of times I scroll because it's avoidance. I'm avoiding the things that I need to do. So at the end of the day, I can say I did it. But here's the thing. I live by the code. Stop lying, tell the truth. What are the facts about what you're dealing with? Let's get, let's get raw. What are the feelings and emotions? And let's get relevant. What's the work that we need to do? And the last thing, what's the fruit and the results that I seek? So the Warrior's Way, it's a gamified system where I jump into the body, being, balance, and business. There's a half a point for each one of these things. First off, in my body, there's fuel, okay? And there's fitness. And then in my spiritual, there's meditation and there's memoirs, which is journaling, Bible stacking. In my balance, there's person one and person two. In my business, there's discovery and declare. Those 8 things are half a point that gives me 4 points in the core four. But those four things are supposed to set me up for power for the day. But here's the thing. I can go through and I can get my points and I can check off these things. That's not a problem. My meditation, my memoirs, Bible stacking, person one, person two, it's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. Sometimes I don't stick to the game plan all day long. I may have my fuel in the morning and eat a good breakfast, take my vitamins, um, protein shake, a green smoothie, whatever it is that I classify as my fuel. And my fitness, I work out, I walk, I do all these things. But then throughout the day, I may blow my diet at lunch. I'll eat something I shouldn't eat. So I'm considering, because sometimes you get stuck. And part of the rising up and ascending, the ascension of the warrior, which is my book, part of that ascension is you have to keep going all day long. You can't back off your game. It's game time from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And it's so easy to get sucked into mindless stuff. I do a podcast every day. Normally it's done, but today it's 3:46 in the afternoon because again, I got sucked into a conversation with my daughter, taking care of, person two. I was talking to her about my grandson. He's going to be doing some work for me, things like that. And he hit a deer with the car and thought maybe he might need some help with the car and getting it fixed. And so, I offered if possible, we'll see what we can do because I consider it a safety issue for him. And so, but then that conversation turns into, a conversation and rightfully so. I gave her the time and the space for her to say everything she needed to say. But at the end of the day, it takes up a lot of time in your day. So what do you do? Well, you just keep going. You just keep going. So, when you find yourself wasting away in needless things, so at the end of the day, you take a look, and what's beautiful thing with our app that we have, we track everything. I track my macros for my food. I track what I eat. I track my sugar. I track my exercise. I track everything. I track my balance with my relationships. I track my things for my business to make sure that I'm working my field every day. I make sure that I accomplish things. We have what's called the door. The door is kind of like your to-do list, but it's where you prioritize. You have 16 hits, 4 hits for each of your body, being, balance, and business. Those 4 things are 4 targets for this week that you want to move forward. And then we have the door, the domino door, which there's 4 keys, which opens up the door. These are 4 things that are connected to that one door. You get those 4 keys, you get another 4 points. So that's 20 points. Then if you hit everything, you get the door, which is a 1 point, which gives you 21, which is blackjack. So it's a way to have a competition with yourself. But here's the beautiful thing. Brothers, we are a band of brothers and we come together and we have return and reports each and every week and every month and quarterly and all that, where we can get together and we can go over our stats. We can go over our numbers and hold each other accountable because it's about ascending. We're all dealing with some stuff. The system is go to a grief group, go to your counselor, go to those places. They turn you loose after 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, and not here. This opportunity is something like no other. And because there's just nothing out there for guys, for men that are struggling in leading themselves and leading their family and their businesses to get their life back because the kids have grown. You may have buried a daughter, you may have buried a son, you may have buried loved ones, and that grief is heavy and you feel like a failure sometimes. What do? Well, you find a group of brothers that can help lift you up. We're going nowhere. That is, as a group, we will be there for you. So with that being said, make sure you get a copy of my book. The link for my book is is either in my bio, wherever you're watching or listening to this, but also in the description. Also, our Bible study. Join us on our Facebook group. Also, all these links are in the description of the podcast. So with that being said, I love you. God loves you. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. Man, I will see you on the next one.